Hello everybody, welcome to this week's edition of the question and answer videos that I do every single Monday. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Welcome to the week. Hope it's starting okay. Let's start it off right with this, huh? I'm answering you guys' questions from last week's question and answer video. I encourage all of you to ask questions down below in the comment section. Ask me anything you want. Always on the last Q&A video. I'll answer all of them. If I miss your question, ask me again. If I misunderstand, ask me again. There's no such thing as a bad question. It doesn't matter what it is or what it's about. If it's personal or too personal, I'll let you know. But I'm encouraging you all to be involved down below. Interact with each other. Read everyone's comments down below. You have me telling you what I think about things and answering questions. And you have everybody else's experiences and then answering questions as well. Okay? It's a good community. I try to keep it safe and clean down there. So please ask questions. A lot of you guys are or still experiencing trauma. And without understanding what happened to you, it's just a ton of shame and guilt that we need to get rid of, okay? And a really good way that something you can do right here is just understand your experience. What happened, okay? So you don't believe that it's your fault. And even if it is, whatever you've done wrong, we forgive ourselves. We've got to move on and look forward to our life, okay? So ask questions. Something I recommend all the time is something that was called Shane's Law Petition. Shane was a victim of a narcissistic, sociopathic smear campaign, and he took his life. And someone that loved him started a petition on change.org called Shane's Law Petition. It has now been changed names. Something that have to do with, I'm not sure, I'm just guessing, that has something to do with Shane's accused abuser, maybe. Didn't want to be involved in this. I've actually been contacted by Shane's accused abuser, supposedly, telling me not to do this. It's like, well, you know, either way, if you're guilty or not, why would it be a bad thing to get rid of narcissistic, sociopathic community abuse, right? Even if my abuser was claiming I did it, not my name or anything, and wants to start a petition, I'll sign it. Anyway, I've been following this since I think around 10,000 signatures, maybe less, for a few years now, and I've been supporting it a lot. It has grown to almost 67,000 signatures. When it reaches 75, it will be one of the biggest petitions on change.org. So it's gaining massive traction. Seems like something may come of this. I encourage all of you to please support it. Go down below, right in the description box where it says more. Hit that and you'll see. It's going to now be called Protection for Victims of Narcissistic Sociopath Abuse. And thank you for your support, because this needs to stop. We're talking about the decay of society and how much it's changing right now, and narcissism is on the rise. Well, the one major thing that needs to stop that can cure so much of this stuff is we don't talk bad about people. Imagine that. We don't talk bad about people. We can have opinions, but we don't need to state our opinions about people in public because it causes damage. You may be wrong. And even if you're right, who are you to be disrespecting, talking bad about other people? Even if it's true or not, that's not the point. We don't do it. And if we stop doing that, you'll be amazed at how many problems will also be fixed. Okay? So, thank you for signing it, guys. I appreciate your support. Okay, I recommend something every single week. This week, I'm going to recommend some tests, some quizzes you guys can take to increase your self-awareness, to know who you are. If we've had traumatic, abusive relationships, toxic relationships in adulthood, we were neglected in childhood, okay? And if we're neglected and abused throughout our life, we may not have much self-awareness. We've been trying to people please and make everyone else happy and not focusing on ourselves, of who we are, of what we need, of what we want, of how we feel, what our opinion is, what we value. We've lost, compromised, sacrificed, numbed, neglected, all these things about ourselves. And so this is where healing really begins. Healing and recovery from our experiences is all about learning about you. That's what it is. And it never stops till we die, okay? There's nobody who reaches full enlightenment. If they do, they got to wake up the next morning and start all over. So this is something we need to all do. I'm hoping these tests just spark that. I'm not saying this will cure and make you have tons of interest and know exactly who you are, but at least I'm trying to encourage you guys to focus on yourself. So I got a personality test on there, and then I have an interests quiz. See what you guys are interested in, because once you find what you're interested in, because there may not be much you're interested in right now except narcissists. And unless you are one, it may not serve you that well. So let's increase interest in our life. Let's be aware of what we're interested in. Let's go find and seek interest to make the world interesting, to make you more interesting, to make people more interesting, and to meet people with mutual interests. Okay? So enjoy those tests. Let me know what you guys think of it. Thank you. All right. So let's get on with the questions. First one is from Sergeant Muffin Badger. All I ask you guys is please let us know your locations. Ask a question. Just say hi. Say, hey, I'm from, Europe or something. Let us know. Thank you. So your question, Sergeant Muffin Badger. Going through this currently, talking about what I was talking about last week. Recovering is hard as hell, but hopefully I get better. I'm starting to clear the mental fog though. Good. And you don't have to hope. You'll get better if you try. So it's all about what have you been doing to get better? What can you do to get better, okay? It's no hope. You'll get better. Unless you just keep doing this, right? You keep dating people like this that traumatize you and over and over again. It gets worse. We don't just get a better handle on it. We get more traumatized and more damaged, and it gets worse. So we need to stop this pattern. You don't need to hope. There are ways to stop this, okay? Just talk to people. Talk to people. Talk to somebody who has experience in this kind of stuff and knows how to help you, okay? But there's all kinds of things you can do. You don't have to cross your fingers and hope. You can do it. Just committing and investing. Thank you. Liz. Oh, boy. I can't remember where you're from, Liz. I'm sorry. Self-care says, I love me, even if in the moment you don't feel like it. I used to make a list of top line activities daily and then report to my sponsor and go over them with her. She would always say, good job today for not abandoning your inner little girl. This would always make me cry. I was connecting to myself in many ways then. The healing path was rocky and very hard, but it was the best thing I could have done for my life. Great topic, David. Thank you. Thank you, Liz, for sharing this kinds of stuff. I just like that people, I like it when you guys talk about how much better you're feeling and doing and how and why and what have you done and all this stuff. It's just encouraging and gives people, lets them know that they can do it too. You guys can, okay? All right. Salama from Fence. I'm going to get to your question. In the Q&A, you advised me to be honest with people and set my boundaries, and thank you so much. With your advice, plus the bad talk that uttered from my mouth, I know what I don't want to talk about. And concerning the person with whom I talked badly, do I tell him that I wish we did not have that talk? Or do I just commit to myself and the boundaries I'm setting up? So Salema last week asked me, she said there's this person that she conversated with and she participated in talking badly about another person. Just what I was talking about, right? And Salema realizes that doesn't feel good. I don't want to do that. And what should I tell him? I don't have my response here. I'm not going to tell you what to say, Salema, but the good thing, the best communication with somebody is tell them how you feel and ask for what you want. So just example, Salema, I don't really like talking bad about people. You don't even have to say that person. Anyway, it doesn't feel right to me. It just feels gross. Even if that person is a bad person and has done bad things, I don't need to talk about it. It's too much negativity in my life. I'd rather focus on positive things, and it just doesn't feel good, so I don't want to participate in that anymore. Let's talk about something else. Okay? You're definitely taking the high road. If this person you're conversating with is toxic, they won't take that very well. They'll say, oh yeah, sure, okay, and then they'll start talking bad about you. And remember that. If there's people talk bad about people or they don't, trust me, because I got the people that don't talk bad about people all the time, and they'll have someone just absolutely ruin their lives and try to kill them and stuff, and they won't talk bad about it. They can say stuff they've done, and then they even feel bad about that. Okay, so if someone talks bad about people, the more they get to know you, the more they're going to just talk bad about you. Okay, it's an inner thing. It has nothing to do with the individual that they're talking about. It has everything to do with the individual that's talking bad. Okay, we treat people, you can get to know how people feel about themselves according to how they talk about other people and how they treat other people, right? Happy, feel-good people that love themselves would never talk bad about people or mistreat others or talk behind someone's back. Why? What does that serve? It's just complaining. Complaining, complaining, complaining. Rory from Ohio. Hi, Rory. Loving your videos here in Ohio. What does it mean when someone says you need to lower your expectations? Sometimes I think I may have lowered them too much. Were they just thinking they were helping to make a bad situation better? Would love to hear your take on this. Thanks, David. It reminds me of an old Saturday Night Live sketch from the 90s called Lowered Expectations. And it would do a little skit, and it would start in the beginning. It would roll with a couple playing on the beach, and it'd say, lowered expectations. And it would go through some scenario where someone just deeply lowers their expectations. So let's talk standards, right? Let's not expect anything from anyone. Let's have our own standards, okay? And rule number one for any relationship to work, function, grow, loving, any of that, values must match. So those are your standards. Right at the beginning, right at the top, you know that some of your standards are the morals you value the most, right? And that's all that has to match. That's all that has to be the same, the morals, okay? Once those are the same, you guys have a great chance to get along. Now, what I wrote is, thank you very much. Well, it's not up to anyone else, right? What your expectations are. But that suggestion seems to make sense if you are turning everyone away in your life. What seem to be good, nice, happy, and you find little things that aren't really a big deal, maybe something you might regret, and you're lonely and don't have anybody in your life, and you're saying, God, I hope that someone, Mr. Right and the good friends would come along, and it seems like they are, and you're just shining them away, okay? But I have standards, and I hold them up high, okay? And no one's allowed in my life until I know what your standards are. And if they match, you're in my life. If not, have a good day. I can work with you, I can talk to you, I can have a conversation, but I'm not going to be in any kind of committed relationship with you. I'm not going to, right? You have different values. And if they don't match, it's not going to work. What's the point? If you have a relationship with someone who does not value the same morals you do, you are then compromising your values, yourself. Those are pretty big ones, your values. Once you start compromising your values, you're screwed. Doesn't feel good. You're confused and lost, and now they're not principled anymore, and you can just kind of lie and cheat and steal all the time. That's called no conscience. Okay. Hope that makes sense, Rory. Allow people in your life. Give them a chance. The only way to trust somebody is to trust them. All right, Salema again for Fence. This week, I realized I have another fear. The fear that people I get to know think that I have no life. Sad. That's real judgmental, right? If you aren't like that, which you aren't, then we just try to find other people that aren't like that. Let's put that on the top of our standard list, right? It's called acceptance. I accept myself. That means I have to accept myself unconditionally, and I accept other people for who they are. And some people will accept me, and some people will not. Number one reason relationships fail: lack of acceptance. Okay? So, 3 years ago, I saw my brother again, who was a flying monkey. He told me how great he was and what a life he had. He just unleashed so much judgment onto me, telling me I had no life, what a miserable life I had. I know it is false, but he doesn't have a wonderful life. Period. Judgmental people like that are really not accepting themselves. Once you accept yourselves, you can accept other people. You don't judge them. Once you love yourself, you can love other people. Once you have love, not much room for hate. And I'm really sorry your brother did this. You did not defend myself, and you accepted what he said. It killed me so much, I had to go to a therapist. I am afraid to feel this pain again, and this is why I'm afraid to get close to people at the same time that I fear unleashed hated on me. Are these two fears similar? The fear of abandonment and the fear of being judged violently about one's life. Thanks so much, David, and sorry for the long text. It's okay. Salema, when people start judging you and comparing you to other people, it just lowers our self-esteem, okay? You're talking about a fear of abandonment, and then you're talking about rejection, judgment, not acceptance, okay? And you know, you can gain a fear of abandonment if someone you care about starts to reject you, right? So they can go hand in hand. But again, Salema, if you're an accepting person and you're not judgmental, then we also need to accept that some people are. So instead of worrying about other people accepting you, Salema, accept yourself for who you are and love that. Love it. Love it unconditionally. And realize that you're different than everyone else, right? Because we all are. But there's a lot of people, most of us, that are like you, Sulema. And so we accept some people that they steal, and we accept that some people lie, and we accept that some people judge. And those are people that I don't want personally involved in my inner circle in my life, okay? And I'm just going to accept that there's people like that. And it will. And if you accept yourself, it won't bother you when someone else does not. Because if we don't accept ourselves, we totally rely on other people accepting us. And when they don't, it crushes us. Okay? So you're never that bad. You're never that good, Selema. You're just like everybody else, good and bad. Okay? And I'm sorry your brother does this. If it feels bad, make it stop. And if you can't make it stop, stop talking to him. Tell him how you feel and ask for what you want. And if he doesn't have respect for that, which he probably won't, since he's judgmental and nasty, and that's abusive. So if he abuses people, he doesn't value respect. He doesn't value honesty. He doesn't value integrity. He doesn't value acceptance. Do you? Then it doesn't matter who it is. I wouldn't have him too close to you in your life. Okay? I'm sorry, Selema. Thank you for sharing this, though. Hi, David. Carissa here from Colorado. Hi, Carissa. Based on your experience or knowledge, do you think your YouTube abuser will even realize how much of their life they have washed trying to make you look like a bad person? Or are they too obsessed with you, plus the lack of personal insight, to ever understand how crazy they are? It amazes me the length, reach, and time span these types of people will go through just to make someone look bad. It's overkill. Yeah, slightly. It's disgusting, and it's the detriment of our society. Stop talking bad about people. She's not crazy. She has a personality disorder, obviously. Pretty obvious to anybody. Here's what I wrote. Thank you. A person this sick has no life of their own at all. So unstable they cannot even look at themselves. They believe they are incapable of accomplishing anything worthwhile of their own. They obsess of others' lives instead of creating one of their own with any meaning. Cannot have relationships with anyone, and so lonely they fantasize most of the time. They do not believe their behaviors are wrong, and do not see or understand how they appear to society at all. Total lack of awareness in how they look. They prey on everyone they believe will promote their status. What's evil about the world is not how evil people like her are, but that people don't do anything about it. Right? You can have one person do all they want, say all they want, try to damage everyone's lives. But if no one pays attention to it, it doesn't do anything. But when you have 100 people that say this is okay behavior, this is okay to attack somebody, and then they go and attack people and stuff too, yeah. That's the problem. That's the problem. That platforms like this don't protect people. They allow it. They encourage it. They promote it. So that's the problem. Thank you, Carissa. And I really don't care what people say about me, good or bad. I know who I am, and especially somebody I don't know. Who cares? I accept that there are people different than me, and so there are people that are different than me that probably won't like me. That's fine. Good. I'm doing something right. Emily from South Africa. Hi, David. Thank you for your video. It really helped me today. I'm going to be my own supporter in being more authentic. I don't need other people's approval or permission. I like that, Emily. You're coming a long way. Because I think you believe that. I sense that you actually believe that, and you're not just telling me or somebody else or yourself, you know, what sounds good. That's awesome. KB. I like to cook for my dates. I recommended cooking last week because it helps us heal from trauma, and it makes us more social and healthier. And with the recession going, it is a recession, let's start cooking. I like to cook for my dates. They seem to enjoy it too. Now I'm referred to as shake and bake. I love that. And I don't know where you're from, KB. I'd love to know. Tell us your location. But I said, haha, like Ricky Bobby. And you said, not familiar with him or the movie. Talladega Nights, I think, is one of the best comedy movies ever made. It's one of the only movies I can watch repeatedly. It's hilarious. I highly recommend it if you want a good laugh for an hour and a half. Talladega Nights, starring Will Ferrell. And he plays a race car driver called Ricky Bobby. And him and his partner refer to their driving as shake and bake. Shake and bake, baby, shake and bake. Anyways, funny movie. That's awesome, KB. Keep cooking. Keep cooking. Make people happy, right? One way to make people happy is through their stomach, isn't it? Not just men, women. Emily from South Africa again. Why do children have the opposite personality of their parents or siblings? Well, we don't have the same fingerprints. A lot of us don't have the same color of eyes. I mean, there's only two possibilities. We may not have the same hair color, skin color, things like this. But when you're talking personality, that's something that we develop as we enter adulthood. Okay? Children don't have a whole lot of personality. They kind of copy and mimic and imitate and try this and try that and don't know who they are yet. Brains still grow until about 25 years old. So it would make total sense that we're all going to have different personalities. Because you, Emily, did not grow up the exact same way your dad did, and you didn't grow up the exact same way your mom did, and you don't have the exact same genetics as your dad or your mom, and you probably didn't grow up in the same exact environment and culture, maybe. There's so many differences, and our brains grow depending on our experiences, our choices, what we're doing. And so you are going to have all kinds of different experiences, and your mom and dad treating you different than they were treated, and you're going to have different friends you interact with and people and all these different things. It just makes us so unique and different. There's no way you're going to be just like your mom or your dad. You know what's funny is the more I've noticed people don't like their parents, the more they're like them. Pretty interesting, huh? I've never cared for my father much, and I've had like people that knew me really well and knew my father say, "God, you sound just like your father." It's crazy. Second question: why does taking care of animals heal you from trauma? And I wrote, connection with animals opens your heart for compassion. Okay, if you can bond with an animal, look directly into their eyes, it raises your oxytocin. This makes you feel like the world is a better place. It's more accepting of yourself and other people and animals. It makes us trust more, makes us comfortable, eat better, sleep better, all this stuff, okay? So connecting with someone, looking in their eyes, touching them, hugging them, saying I love you, giving them gifts does all this. And so does pets, and looking in their eyes and petting them, okay? So it opens up our compassion for other creatures, and this in turn opens up our compassion for ourselves, and that's what we need, self-compassion, okay? Sometimes I can get people to reach self-compassion through compassion for others first, okay? Thank you, Emily. Traveling man, yeah, I guess it's over, as I've never seen her behave this way. She for sure isn't the same person or personality she was a few months ago. That's unstable, okay? That's what that means. You can call it lying, manipulating, don't know who they are, all that, but it's just unstable self. She was a few months ago. It's been about over a month and I still haven't heard anything from her. I assume she would hoover by now, but hasn't. It could be 6 months or 6 years. I know your standpoint. Once abuse happens, the relationship is over. However, I still love her and have compassion towards her. The resentment I try to fabricate doesn't last long. That's okay. We don't need resentment. Resentment is something, your anger about the past that you didn't feel you had control over and stuff like this. This is why therapy, talk therapy, coaching is just so vitally important. There's no replacement. There's no supplement. There is no way around it at all. Okay? It's okay to have feelings for her. Accept that. Dive into your feelings and understand them and know why and what they are. Also, that's your feelings. Also know what you need. Very important, because if you don't know what you need, we tend to just go by feelings. If we don't know what we want, we go by feelings, emotions. If we don't know what we value, we tend to go by feelings, emotions too much. We got to use everything, every part of who we are to decide the decisions we need to make, and accept how you feel. It's okay if you love her. It's okay. And it's great that you have compassion towards her. And you don't need to resent her. If you don't, you don't. Okay? You might have some hidden anger, and that's just a natural part of grieving. We may not be accepting too much. So start talking about it, start accepting it, do things that make it, boom, final in your head. Do you want her to contact you again? Your ego's going, yes, David. And you're going, shh. No, I don't. We do things like, I encourage a client to send a message saying, don't ever contact me again. And I encourage them to get rid of their belongings that they have of hers. Things like this, and your brain starts going over. Shut door, shut door, shut door, shut door, shut door, and we begin to accept it, and we start to heal, okay? I'm sorry for how you feel, that it's bothering you, that it's such a contradiction. But learn, you got to start processing all of this with somebody, okay? It's too difficult to do alone. Max, don't know where you're from. Let us know where you're from. Oh, no, wrong one, sorry. Willa from New Jersey. Hi, Willa. Can you please tell me the difference between a schizophrenic and a psychopath? I know it is off topic, but how are these mental disorders similar? I'm having trouble commenting on YouTube. I keep getting comment failed to post. That's my channel. I'm getting lots of problems with my channel, and it's not an accident. It's on purpose. But I'm sorry. Keep posting, keep trying, and thank you. Schizophrenia is, well, they're both mental health disorders. The schizophrenia is more in psychosis. Psychosis is a big gray area, and people with personality disorders like antisocial slip into the psychosis sometimes, right? You guys have had narcissists and borderlines. Their eyes turn back in their head, and they're just absolutely just insane and attack you, and you're like, who is this monster, this nasty, God, crazy? Yeah, that's called psychosis. And they slip into psychosis and they slip out. So they're not necessarily psychotic. Schizophrenia is psychotic, okay? Simply psychotic, 24/7, all the time in psychosis, all the time. I have lots of experience with schizophrenia, a lot. It's in my family. And so this means they're delusional thinking, and they hallucinate, see and hear things that aren't there. A psychopath could slip into that and slip back out. That's a personality disorder. And I kind of look at it as neurosis. Neurosis is a spectrum we're all on. As you get higher in neurosis, higher and higher and higher, you eventually get into personality disorders, and then you get into psychosis, and then psychotic disorders, like schizophrenia. Hope I was clear on that, okay? There's a big difference. Big difference. A lot of you guys say, oh my God, that person's crazy. What's wrong with that person? Oh my God. They're probably not really crazy. And I always say they don't pee their pants and talk to themselves, right? No, they function, they have a job and all this, but they were just crazy with you. Probably a personality disorder with someone that slips in and out of psychosis, okay? Thank you, Willow. Let me know what you think if you have more questions. Nancy, don't know where you're from. It's off topic, but I've gone no contact. My birthday is coming, and I may or may not get a short text. Happy birthday, Nancy. I don't want to respond to these shallow, I feel good about myself because I acknowledge my mom. You're quoting him. Got this Mother's Day. Such BS. As they go to brunch with in-laws. Not jealous. Want them to leave me alone. That's why no contact was my last option. What's your gut reply? I said, this has got to be so painful. No contact is probably the best choice. Texting would not be my first choice to tell someone happy birthday. It would feel like they were probably just fulfilling an obligation to acknowledge it. Oh, this is Rory. I just read Rory's reply. I'm sorry this causes you stress, Nancy. I'm not quite sure what you're asking me. What's your gut? How would I reply? I would block him and never reply. And I always say give a preemptive strike. So before he contacts you, write out what you want to tell him. And if you don't want him to contact you anymore, then you tell him, do not ever contact me again. If you think that he won't abide by that, you'll say, I'll take criminal and civil action to make sure that you stop. Okay? You can also have a lawyer write him a letter that says that. You can have someone do it for pretty cheap, fairly cheap, or expensive. I hope that's what you're asking me. We just can't have toxic people in our life, period. There's no healthy and strong person that does that. Healthy, strong person don't have toxic people in their life. That's why they're healthy and strong. And that means even people contacting you. That's harassment, and it's illegal everywhere. Everywhere. You can't harass people. Harassment means unwanted attention. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm married for 20 years and I file for divorce tomorrow and I move out of the house and I tell her, don't you ever contact me again, and she keeps contacting me. That's harassment. Okay? You can take criminal action and you can take civil action. And you can also eliminate it with a letter from a lawyer, a threat, file police reports, and then you can take further action. You can prosecute them for harassment. I've done it. I don't mess around. If I can't get rid of you out of my life and you keep trying, that's it. I'm not going to accept it. No, you're done. Screw you. And most of the people have stopped by just a threat letter. I'm sorry, Nancy. That's it for the questions, everybody. That's all. Thank you for watching this week's question and answer video. Thank you. I encourage all of you, go down below and read the questions. Ask questions, okay? Repeat questions, anything. No such thing as a bad question, only a bad answer. Try and sign that petition. Try and do some of the quizzes. Let me know what you guys think of those, okay? We need self-awareness. That's the only way we'll know what to do. The only way we can be happy. The only way we can do anything, accomplish anything. Know who we are. All right? Love yourself first, guys. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you later. Bye.